All right, thank you all. Welcome to Audio Advice Live. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. So we want to show off a couple of incredibly cool new products that we have here from our JBL brand. And I'll start you off with these. We got one more brand that we'll talk about after we're done with this. But first and foremost, we want to start with exciting new products from JBL. So we just introduced within the last 2 weeks, 2 new product ranges from JBL. These are the Modern Audio MA series AVRs and the Stage 2 series loudspeakers. And these 2 product families were co-developed to work together to provide a complete home cinema solution for the highest performance that you can get at an incredibly high value price point for us. What we wanted to do was reimagine the category. We wanted to take a fresh look at a very mature category and find some new ways to bring a younger customer into the fold and kind of break off some of that old crustiness that we've had in this separate high performance category. So when we talked about what are the younger people looking for, where do they want to move into it, we had to start off and do a lot of research. So we wanted to see, how do people use the products? How are they interacting with the products? How do they live with technology in their homes? So we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just doing research initially up front to figure out how people are living with the products. What do they want from these? Why are they not buying these products today? So for us, with the JBL brand, we own this customer space. As you look at portable Bluetooth speakers and headphones, where we've sold hundreds of millions of devices in those categories. And as people moved up, then they got into a sound bar, where they've got something a little bit better for it. And we know during the pandemic that a lot of people were using sound bars just to do their audio because it was the only audio system that they had. And if you've ever listened to music on a sound bar, it's not the greatest experience. So what we wanted to say was, well, why are they not then moving into a high performance audio system? What are the barriers to that purchase that was there? So there's a high intimidation factor, the complexity of the products. They've got a lot of features. I don't know what they do. I don't know how to set these up. I don't know how I configure the products, what goes with what. So we wanted to find a way to take all of that away, remove those barriers to the purchase, and create something that was far more simplistic and let people get into what they want. They want to listen to music, they want to do gaming, they want to watch movies. And so we took that approach up front. We also knew that by doing a single brand solution, it would be something that was a little different as well. So products that were guaranteed to work together because they were designed together, but it's also a single brand solution so that we weren't telling somebody about one brand of AVR and then switching to a different brand and telling a different story when you got to the loudspeaker. So for us, we obviously had a lot of research that we could base upon for the loudspeaker technologies and for what we were doing with the AVRs, and so we brought all that to bear into these product ranges. So with that, we also identified some customer types, and we said, what are the type of people that are going to be using these systems? We defined 3 customer archetypes for those. So the first was a soundbar alternative, so just as it says. So people that have purchased a soundbar and they're now using it for their home theater, they're using it for their music. What are they going to go from there? They're going to want to go into component audio. So that was the first customer archetype we came up with. Second one was hi-fi curious. So we knew again that people were listening to a lot more music now. They're streaming through services like Qobuz, but also physical media coming back with vinyl and both CD that are both physical media that are coming up and increasing in sales right now. So those were things that we wanted to think about there. So people that were really serious about listening to music, they could create systems out of the Stage 2 and the MA products. And then the third one was the performance player. So somebody that was already kind of into this, but was looking for a very high performance immersive audio surround system. So that person that was just looking for something they could get really high performance for the dollar, and they were probably gonna go higher channel count system. They were gonna get into something with Atmos and immersive surround capability. So those are the 3 customer archetypes that we thought about. And then we created the product mix around those to see how we could create systems. So we wanted people to be able to get into this product very affordably. So you could start off with a 2-channel system. You could do a pair of bookshelves and one of the AVRs. And then as you want to grow the system, you could add a center channel. You could add a subwoofer. Maybe if you started off with bookshelf speakers, those then move to the rears, and you get some floor standards that you could have up for the front. And you could continue to expand the system as you went along. So I'll give you a quick overview of each of these. When I talk about that simplicity mantra that we had for the whole product range, if you think about what a typical AVR has been for the last several decades, this ominous black box that's covered with 50 buttons on the front panel and another 50 to 60 on a remote control that's needlessly complex. And again, going back to, I don't know what it does, I don't know how to set it up, I really just want to be able to turn it on, change an input, change the volume, maybe change its surround mode, but even that, you're the experts, tell me what it's supposed to be. If it's supposed to be Dolby, it should just play Dolby. So that was the approach that we took for all of that. So when you look at the front panels of the AVRs, so there's 5 in the range. So I'll show the white version here. So first of all, there are no white AVRs on the market right now, so just this design approach of what we took to remove that intimidation factor. So you see it's a very simplistic front panel, just with 2 encoders and 5 buttons. Back to that idea of what do you really need it to do? I really just want to listen to music or watch a movie or play some games. I don't need all the rest of those features in it. So you can change inputs, you can change volume, and you can change the surround mode. We took that same approach to the remote control as well. So if you think about what most AVR remotes look like, they don't look like this. So this was the same idea here. Change inputs, change volume, change surround modes, turn it off and on. That's pretty much all you really need to do with it. 4 of the products in the MA range are Wi-Fi enabled. So we've got streaming audio capability in them. We've got Bluetooth capability because it's still a very popular form of connection and people just want to connect their phone, their tablet and do it. But also when their friends come over and you want to share musical experiences or any new content, they'll do it that way as well. So we looked at what was the biggest pain point for Wi-Fi enabled products. You have a guess, any of you that have purchased Wi-Fi products? It's actually putting it on your network, right? So the first thing when I take this exciting new product home and I check it out, I connect it and you can't get it on your network. There's instant buyer's remorse from that. So that was the first thing we said. And it was one of the things we learned about apps is people just want to get to music as quickly as they can. So we have a very simplistic way to get these products on board to your network. So it's a very easy thing to do so that you can go straight to playing music or watching movies. So that's another simplistic way to do it. So we start off with 3 models that we call the standard series. Part of it, that would be these 3 here. So that's the MA 310, the MA 510, the MA 710. So these are also very small chassis size. These are the smallest AVRs on the market right now as well. So the design inspiration of these, you can see, is from gaming consoles. That's where some of this color came from. As we look to Gen Zs and millennial customers, for a lot of them, the only other source they're going to have is a gaming console. So we looked at that and said, well, what's going to be sitting out anywhere in their room? A PS5 is white with some cool lighting on it. So we took some inspiration from that as we did the design of these products. So they're pretty straightforward pieces in that respect. The 3 units here start at a 5-channel basic AVR. So 60 watts a channel. That's got 4K HDMI capability. It's got Bluetooth capability in it. And all the basic surround modes are found in this unit. And it starts at $399. So it's an incredibly accessible price point to get into a great sounding AVR and create a system. From there, you'll move into the MA 510, also a 5.2 channel system, but you get more power with it, and you upgrade to 8K HDMI capability with it. And then this 710, as its name implies, is a 7-channel. So now I'm going to a higher channel count. I go to more HDMI inputs on it. I also add a phono input. So you get some nice step ups as you move through the range on there. From there, you'll go into the high performance models. So the MA 7100 HP and the 9100 HP. A couple of very obvious things that you'll see about those is they have a full color display on the front of the unit. So one of the things that we saw when people were listening and streaming music was to be able to put all of the content, the album art, the metadata, everything that could be on the front of the unit. Another thing that you'll see about these is the underglow. So we incorporated LED underglow lighting on the HP models. It's currently set to JBL orange, but it is selectable, about 6 different colors that you could do with it, or you could put it in a party mode and let it randomize. The other thing that we wanted to be able to do is we have a stealth mode on here where you can turn the display completely off. If I'm listening to music, it's great to have a big, beautiful, bright display in the front, but when I'm watching movies, I want it to completely disappear. So we can turn off that display and operate it in a stealth mode when you're using it in that particular mode. So we get into higher power in these, 125 watts, 140 watts when you get to the bigger models. They are all channels driven, so 7 and 9 channel AVRs. They're configurable, so if you want to do 5.2 or if you want to do 7.2, it depends on how you configure. If you want 4 high speakers or 2, and if you want 5 or 7 on the lower level when you get up to the 9 channel unit. So a lot of flexibility in there. These have some more CI type features on them when you get to this level. The price point on these, so $399, $599, $799, and when you get to here, $1199 and $1599 on these. So that's where you max out in this product range. All models in here include what we call Easy Set EQ. So from the basic, there's an app that you can download called the Easy Set EQ app that will help you set up and calibrate the system for your room so that you've got an easy way to do it. When you get to the HP models, if you want to go even further with them, they are Dirac Live ready. So you can purchase a license from Dirac and then you can take the calibration to the next level with those. So that is an excellent question. Thank you, sir. So, all right, anything else on these? If not, I'll dive into the speakers real quick. So
the remote is brilliant.
You like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Nobody ever uses 8 million buttons on that.
No.
Yeah.
It's one of the things, again, when you think about it, how many of us have been to your parents' house and they can't figure out how to use their system, and you take a piece of paper and you cut out where the volume and the power is and the input, and then you write on there, use this to change the input, use this to change the, we're like, well, people are already doing that. Let's just remove all the confusion from the remote. And the same thing from the front panel. So, all right, so speaker side. We had a product range called the Stage Series. It's done very well for us. The reviews that we've had in the industry was it was one of the best performing loudspeakers at the price point. And so we said, well, we think we can make it look much better than what it is, but the performance is pretty good. But as we went down the rabbit hole, we decided we could make the performance much better as well too. So we used a lot of patented JBL technologies in the Stage 2 series loudspeakers so that we could push the performance even higher on them. So the loudspeakers, as we said, were co-developed with the AVR so that we knew we would have an excellent system package from that. We also knew that for those customers that have come up with the JBL brand, they know us from our portables, they know us from our headphones, they know us from our sound bars. It's a brand that they know and trust. So from that standpoint, it's a complete system. You're not telling two different stories between an AVR and a loudspeaker. So from that standpoint, we created 8 models in the range. So you've got a choice of what you can do for main speakers. So we have 2 bookshelf speakers, the 240 and the 250B, and they are 4.5 or 5.25 inch bookshelf speakers. And from there, then you have our floor standing models. So there's the 260 and the 280, which are double 6 and double 8 inch towers. We also have matching center, choice of 2 subwoofers, and a very unusual and unique Atmos height speaker that can also do double duty as a surround speaker. So there's actually 2 crossover networks in it. Right now it's set to be an elevation speaker so that if you don't have the ability to put in a dedicated height channel, you can use this for that standpoint. But if you want to hang it on the wall as a surround speaker, I flip the switch to that mode, and now I can hang it on anywhere in the room and use it as a true surround. So on all of these products, and you can see over here on that one as well too, but I'll remove the white one and be a little easier to see. So a patented JBL technology in here. So this is our high definition imaging waveguides that we use with a 1-inch metal dome tweeter up top. We have large ferrite motor structures on all the woofers, very high component quality on the crossovers, stuff that you would not typically find at these price points of the speakers, we put into here so that we could maximize the acoustic performance of them. From the design, you can see it's also a very different look. So we went back same way we did with these, with looking at the option of a white product. Everything is just an innocuous black box. So we wanted to put something that was a little more exciting into there. So these are our finishes that we call latte and espresso. So we even gave them different names. But if you look at the all white front with the light kind of maple colored body that's on these, and then in that case a black front with a dark espresso type of wood that you see on the back of them. So the look of them, they look much more expensive than they are. We start at $2.99 a pair for the small bookshelf, and then we go up to $11.99 a pair for the largest floor standard. And then again, center and subwoofer if you want to complete a surround system. But even the type of material that we used on the grills, you know, we looked at what are people living with technology now? How does pet hair come off of these? How do you clean these? So we knew with a lot of younger customers that weren't having kids, their pets are their kids and their plants are their pets. So how's this going to live in their house? And so we wanted to take that into consideration when we did this. We'll also see a little pop of JBL orange that's on the back. So it's kind of a little Easter egg when you see the product. You come around from the side, you'll catch that. It's also on all of the AVRs too. So this is the espresso finish that you see over here. So we think the white is super cool, and it's where most of the excitement has been on both the AVRs and on the loudspeakers. But if you need a little more traditional look to them, you can do the black on the AVRs, and then the espresso finish on these has an all black front with that dark wood cabinet body on it. So that's what we have for the loudspeakers.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
how much is the total price of that system?
So one of the things that we looked at when we talked about soundbar alternative, if If you think about where the price points for those right now, so in our case, our most expensive JBL soundbar is the Bar 1300X, which is about $1,700. $1,799, Johnny, wherever you are, is that right? So
$16.99.
$16.99, there you go. So I can do the exact same price for a 5.1 system using the 310, 2 pair of bookshelves, a center, and a 10-inch sub is also $1,700. So we wanted to have that easy step if you're coming out of a sound bar. If you want to max out everything in here, and we do make a matching range of in-wall and ceiling speakers called the Stage 2 architectural range. So if you had the ability to put dedicated in-walls or in ceilings for the rest of the system, you could mix and match. But if you maxed out everything, biggest towers, biggest subs, 2 subs, you'll be under $6,000 for a complete system with the best AVR, all the biggest speakers, and the highest channel count that you could get with it. So it's not crazy expensive by any means. So, excellent questions.
What's the power output?
They range from 60 watts. They're all channels driven, so 5 channels there, and they go up to 140 for the biggest one.
That's
9
4
by
amps?
140.
4 amps or 8 amps?
It's a Class D amplifier, so the power ratings are 2 channels driven into 8 ohm load.
Okay.
And so 4 ohm loads, they go up considerably in power. Yeah, the 140 goes to almost 240 into a 4 ohm load. So from a 2 channel standpoint, you can create a pretty amazing hi-fi system with one of the HP AVRs, because again, you get that bigger screen when you're streaming. So you're using Cobuzz, Tidal, any of your streaming content on there, use that big screen and create a nice 2-channel system. We've actually been using that as a demo with either the 71 or the 9100 HP with a pair of the dual 8 towers, and that's an amazing hi-fi system. And
The
it's
streaming, what's the DAX? Do you have any?
DACs in here are not crazy exotic DACs by any means, but our basic stuff in them. We use ESS DACs in most of our products.
okay.
Yep, yep. All right.
Thank you.
27, we're good. So we've got a couple things we can do. So we've got this the sizzle reel that's playing in here that kind of shows you some of this. And again, what we were looking to was to take some of this intimidation out of it. So we've actually got some kind of pre-configured systems, and when you're working with companies like Audio Advice too, you can get all the cables and everything that you need in it, because that's the next thing is, what do I need to connect everything with? So they'll be able to put together a cable package for you so that you've got the HDMI cables, the speaker cables. We get you everything pre-configured and terminated with banana jacks for the speakers, so that it's easy plug and play, and not a complicated thing to put one of these systems together. So. All right.
So I got a question.
Yes.
Does it drape the Atmos speaker off the back of the big?
That's another good question. Yes, thank you. So if you actually, let's do this. So that was another thing that we looked at on these. So when you're putting the 240H on top of one of the towers, we wanted to make it easy so that you didn't have another set of cables moving down the back of it. So this Dolby Atmos Ready plug that's up here actually hides the second set of terminals that's here. So this upper set is for the Atmos speakers. So I would run this for my main channel, this for the Atmos. It runs internally and it comes up here, so all I have is a small jumper cable that we would need to connect to the height module if you're putting it on the top of one of the speakers. We also use a very sticky material. Another thing, we didn't want these to move or fall off, so they're pretty much on there, but they will come off easily. It's kind of a sticky stuff is what our product manager called it. I'm not sure we've trademarked that as a name or anything yet, but that's what it does in here. So it was another thing that we just thought about. If you had small kids or pets or somebody bumped into it, we didn't want one of these falling off. So as we say, this material sticks on there, so once you get them where you need them to be, then you can just press it down again, and once it's in there, it's stuck. So
Nice.
removable when it needs to be removable. We do make a set of matching floor stands that works for either of the bookshelves. These also have the same sticky material on them so that they hold together there. So yes, you've got available floor stands in white or black, depending on which models you do.